Okay, in this lecture, so we will study about turbines. So what is the turbine? Turbines are the machines for producing continuous power in which a wheel or a rotor fitted with vanes or the blades, which are curved blades on the periphery of the rotor, is made to revolve due to the force exerted by a working fluid. So the working fluid may be water, steam, gas, air, or any other fluid. So okay, in this first unit of module 2 is dealt with the turbines, and in this unit 2 we are going to study about number 1 the classification of turbines, number 2 the principle of operation of Pelton wheels, number 3 the principle of operation of Francis turbines, and the number 4 the principle of operation of Kaplan turbines. So here in this unit 1 of module 2 we are going to study about these three types of turbines. So in this we are going to study about its construction, then its components, then working principle, how it works, how it develops the power. So that we are going to study in this unit 1 of module 2. So now we'll study the classification of hydraulic turbines. Hydraulic turbines means the turbines wherein the working fluid is water. So classification of hydraulic turbines. These turbines can be classified on different ways. So number one is based on the type of energy available at the inlet of the turbine. So that means the energy possessed by the water at the entrance of the turbine. Depending on the type of energy, these turbines may be classified into two categories. One is impulse turbine, the other one is reaction turbine. In case of impulse turbine, the energy available at the inlet of the turbine is only kinetic energy. That means energy possessed by the water which flows at high velocities into the turbine. So wherein it enters the turbine through a nozzle. So, nozzle is a device which converts the potential energy into kinetic energy. That means here it possesses high velocity, means high kinetic energy. So examples for impulse turbines are Pelton wheel, Girard turbine, Banki turbine, etc. Then the second category is reaction turbine. So here in this case at the entrance of the turbine, both pressure energy and kinetic energy are available at the inlet of the turbine. Examples for this type of turbines are Kaplan turbine, Francis turbine, Thomson turbine, etc. Okay, now the second way of classification of the water turbines is based on the head under which the turbine works. Hmm. So here we can classify based on the head into three categories. One is high head turbines. High head turbines. So head of water available at the inlet of the turbine, that is above 300 meter. Example, these Pelton wheels are used. That means when the head available above the turbines. Say if you consider this image or picture, the turbine is available at the bottom somewhere here. Okay, and water reservoir is at this level. The water is stored at a height, and this is the level of water in the reservoir, and this is the level of turbine in the turbine or powerhouse. Then this height is nothing but a head of water. So here based on the height or head, so we can classify the water turbines into high head turbines, medium head turbines and low head turbines. So head of water available at the inlet of the turbine, that is if it is above 300 meters, if this distance is above 300 meters, then such turbines are called as high head turbines. Uh, so for example, in that case, Pelton wheel is a turbine, so which is a high head turbine, means these are preferred when the head available is high. Then medium head turbines. The head of water available at the inlet of the turbine ranges from 50 meters to 150 meters. That means if the head available is around 50 to 150 meters, then such turbines are called medium head turbines. Such turbines are called medium head turbines. So in that case, we cannot use the Pelton wheel. So the examples for this are Francis turbine. Francis turbine is a medium head turbine. That means, so when the head available is less, means between 50 to 150 meters, then such turbines are called medium head turbines. Then third one is low head turbines. So head of water at the inlet will be less than 50 meters. If this height or head is less than 50 meters, then such turbines are called low head turbines. Example is a Kaplan turbine. Kaplan turbine is an example for low head turbine. Okay, the third way of classification of the hydraulic turbines is based on the direction of flow of the water through the turbines. So here we can categorize into four categories. Number one, tangential flow turbines. Number two, axial flow turbines. Number three, radial flow turbines. And number four, mixed flow turbines. So here in the first case, in tangential turbines, water flows along the tangent to the runner. The example is a Pelton wheel. You observe here, this is the image of the Pelton wheel. This is a example for tangential flow turbines. So in which the water flows in a direction tangential to the rotor. Now observe, this is the rotor. On this rotor, on the periphery, there are cups or the blades, and water is flowing and striking the cups and make the rotor to rotate. The flow of the water is in a direction along the tangential to this rotor. So such turbines are called tangential flow turbines, in which the flow of water is in a direction along the tangent to the rotor. Example is the Pelton wheel. Second one is axial flow turbines, wherein the water flows in a direction parallel to the axis of rotation of the runner. For example, if you take this is example is a Kaplan turbine, in which you observe the water is flowing in this direction and the rotor is rotating along this axis. So you observe our rotation is in this direction and this is the axis of rotation. The water is flowing in a direction parallel to the direction of axis. So these are type of turbines wherein the water flows along the direction of axis of rotation of the rotor. They are called axial flow turbines. Okay. Third one is radial flow turbines. So in which the flow of water in the turbines is in a direction along the radius. So you observe here in this, water flows from outer periphery and flows toward the center. The water enters from outside, okay, here through this pipe inlet, water enters and flows in a direction along the radius of the turbine and then comes out from the center. Okay, so this type of turbines wherein the flow of water is in a direction parallel to the radius, along the radius, they are called radial flow turbines. And again in this depending on the direction of the flow, it may be inward flow turbines or outward flow turbines. As I told you here, so it is flowing in a direction towards the center of the rotor of the turbine. So they are called inward flow, flowing into the turbine. Okay. Then the second case is when the flow is outward flow. That means when the water enters, reverse of this, water enters at the center and then flows outward in a direction along the radius. So that type of turbines wherein the water flows into the center first and then flows out along the radius. They are called outward flow turbines. Both are radial flow turbines. And the fourth one is mixed flow turbines. So wherein the water flows radially into the runner and leaves axially. So it is a special case wherein it enters the turbine along the radius and moves out in a direction axially along the axis. So it is called mixed flow turbines. A modern Francis turbine is an example for mixed flow turbines. The next classification is according to the specific speed of the turbine. Next classification is based on the specific speed. So what is specific speed? So specific speed is basically defined as the speed of a turbine which is identical in shape, geometrical dimensions, blade angles, gate opening, etc. in all the parameters. So it is very identical with the turbine. So with actual turbine, but of such a size that it will produce unit power when working under unit head. The meaning here is, so there is a turbine. Okay. So when it is working under a unit head, means the water available is at a height of 1 meter. Okay. And then, so it is generating 1 unit of power. So it develops 1 kilowatt of power. Okay. Working under a head of 1 meter develops a power of 1 kilowatt. Then for that, what is the speed at which it should rotate? That speed is called specific speed of the turbine. So once again I will repeat, you consider a turbine. So head available is 1 meter and it is running at some speed and develops 1 kilowatt of power. Then that speed is called specific speed of the turbine. Okay. So here based on the specific speed of the turbines are classified into low specific speed turbines. Example, Pelton wheel. Medium specific speed turbines, example Francis turbine. Then third one is high specific speed turbines, they are Kaplan turbines. These are the different ways in which we can classify the water turbines. So now next is impulse turbine. In impulse turbines, high velocity jet of water strikes a series of specifically shaped cups on the runner. Means on the rotor, on the periphery, as I told you earlier. So on the periphery of the circular rotor, so there will be mounted some curve shaped cups. These are called blades. Okay. So onto this, the water at high velocity, a jet of water at high velocity strikes and causes an impulsive force. So because of the striking force, this rotor starts rotating. So here energy transfer is whatever the energy available is potential head, then it is producing high pressure. When it enters the turbine, it passes through a nozzle. The nozzle function is to convert the potential head or energy into kinetic energy, converts the pressure energy into high velocity head, and the water jet strikes the blades at high velocity and transfer the energy to the blades, thereby making the rotor to rotate. So this is how an impulse turbine works. So the jet impinges on the turbine which are curved shape, turbine blades which are curved shapes. So then prior to hitting the turbine, as I told you, Water pressure or potential energy is converted into kinetic energy by a nozzle, and that high velocity jet is focused onto the blades of the turbine. Okay. So no pressure change occurs at the turbine in this case. Okay. So before entering the turbine itself, in the nozzle itself, entire pressure energy is converted into kinetic energy, and there is no pressure change occurs in the turbine. And the turbine doesn't require any housing for operation. It need not be any airtight housing is not required here. That is the speciality of impulse turbine. Say this diagram is of an impulse turbine, sorry, Pelton wheel turbine. So you see here, this is the rotor. Then on the periphery of the rotor, these are the blades or the cups which are mounted on the periphery, and this entire thing is housed in this casing. This is the casing. Okay, it's not pump actually; it is the turbine casing. And then, so here, this is the nozzle. Nozzle. This is nozzle. The water enters this turbine, which passes from the reservoir. It comes through a pipeline which we call as penstock, and then it enters into the turbine. At the entrance there will be a nozzle. This is nozzle which is a reduction in the diameter. So then a high velocity jet comes out of the nozzle, strikes the blades, makes it to rotate in this direction. Okay. After striking, the water passes through out of the turbine through a tiled race. This is called tiled race, exit of the turbine. So here now we will see how an impulse turbine works. So now this is the rotor. This is the rotor, and on the periphery of the rotor, these are the blades or the cups. Okay, and then this is the nozzle. This is the inlet to the nozzle, and this is the nozzle, and high velocity jet of water comes and strike these blades or the vanes and make the rotor to rotate. This is how it works. Okay. Now, so in operation, water from the reservoir or the dam having potential energy flows through the penstock. Penstock is nothing but the pipeline which carries the water from the reservoir to the turbine, means powerhouse. Okay. Then as water flows through the nozzle, the potential energy is converted into kinetic energy at the nozzle. Okay. Nozzle is nothing but a simple device, so wherein the diameter reduces. When the diameter reduces, what happens? The velocity increases, the pressure decreases, and the velocity increases. Okay, nozzle is nothing but a device which converts the pressure energy or potential energy available in the water into kinetic energy or velocity energy. Okay, the water flows through the nozzle. The potential energy of water is completely converted into kinetic energy in the nozzle. The high velocity jet of water coming out of the nozzle strikes the blades, then transfer the entire kinetic energy to the blades and then make the rotor to rotate. The impulse force due to the high velocity jet of water sets the runner wheel into rotary motion. That's how it works. Okay, next is reaction turbines. So in case of reaction turbines, the transfer of energy is due to the reactive force. Now you consider the simple wheel, okay, in which the water leaves with high velocity. See, water enters at the center, okay, and then the water is coming out of this nozzle with high velocity, say along this peripheral direction or tangential direction. Water is coming out with high velocity. So when the water leaves this nozzle at high velocity, there will be reactive force which pushes this in the opposite direction and makes this to rotate. This is general. This is how a water sprinkler, which is used in the gardens for agriculture and all that, it's very similar to that. When the high velocity jet of water leaves, then it pushes the reactive force generates and pushes the this wheel to rotate in this direction. So then all the reaction turbines work based on this reactive force. That's why they are called reaction turbines. Okay. So now in this case of reaction turbines, now see here, water enters the turbine in the and moves along the spiral direction, spirally. Okay, enters from the outside, and here there are two things. So one is at the center there is a rotor, center there is a rotor, and second wheel, this is called stator. Stator is a wheel which is stationary and doesn't rotate, and rotor is at the center and it rotates. Okay, and here you can observe these curved lines. These curved lines represents the blades. When heavy mass of water flows over this, there the stops, the pressure increases. Okay, whatever the pressure here is applied on these blades, but these blades are stationary and give a particular direction for the water to flow. Therefore they are called guide blades or guide vanes. They guide the water to flow towards the center, and heavy mass of water when flows into this, it pushes the rotor to rotate. That's how it actually works. Heavy mass of water when flows towards the center and the flow is guided by these guided blades, then it pushes the rotor to rotate due to the reactive force. So that's how a reaction turbine works. I hope you understood. Okay, now we will consider Francis turbine. Francis turbine is a mixed flow reaction turbine, so used for medium heads. These are preferred when the head available is medium. So it was the first hydraulic turbine with radial flow designed by American scientist James Francis. So this turbine is named after him. So here the parts of this turbine are: number one, the runner. A runner is a circular wheel on which a series of curved blades are fixed. Now we can see here. So the inner one, this is a runner or the rotor. So on this you can observe there are number of means series of blades are fixed. These are curved blades with designed definite angles. Then the number of blades usually varies between 16 to 24. The runner in turn is coupled to a rotating vertical shaft. So here this runner is coupled at the center, it is coupled to a shaft which is vertical. Then guide blades. The guide blade is a guide wheel. Guide wheel is also a wheel, it's a stationary wheel around the runner of the turbine. As it so it is a stationary, means it doesn't rotate. Only here the rotor or the runner rotates, and the guide wheel or the stator, it doesn't rotate. Again there are series of curved blades or vanes. See, these are the series of curved blades or vanes on the stator or on the guide wheel. It is called guide wheel because these are the vanes or the blades which are used to guide the flow of water. When the water enters into the turbine, these blades help or actually guides the water to flow towards the rotor. They provide the proper angle. That's why they are called guide wheels, and this wheel is the stator wheel which doesn't rotate. Hmm. So around the blades are fixed around a number of blades are fixed around the circumference of the guide wheel, and these blades are called guide blades or stationary blades, as I told you. So they are used to guide the flow of water. The guide blades allow water to strike a certain angle to the moving onto the moving. Here this image depicts how, as I told earlier, see the axis is vertical, the mounting is horizontally, the water enters from the, so the blades are designed in such a manner that while flowing through the blades, water will be subjected to nozzle effect. Nozzle effect means as the water flows along the guide blades, so the area of flow goes on reducing. So you can observe here. Okay, so here the area of flow goes on reducing. As the area of flow reduces, so it is nothing but nozzle effect is provided. In other words, the pressure energy of the water is converted into kinetic energy during the flow over these guide blades or stator wheel. Then the spiral casing or a volute or scroll casing, it is also called. So the spiral casing is a closed passage surrounding the guide blades. So this is the guide blade, and around that this is the spiral casing. Spiral casing around the guide blades. The cross-sectional area of the spiral casing gradually reduces, nothing but tapered along the flow direction in order to distribute the water uniformly around the entire perimeter of the runner. Okay. So then the spiral casing is also known as scroll casing or volute. Then next is Kaplan turbine. Kaplan turbine is a axial flow reaction turbine. As I told you, so here you see the flow is axial, means this is the axis of the turbine or rotor, and the flow is in a direction along the or parallel to the axis. So it is the axial flow turbine, and this is preferred when a large quantity of water is available, but the head available is low. Uh, So the turbine consists of a hub or boss at the center. Say this is nothing but the hub. See the hub. Okay, the runner blades attached to the hub are adjustable and can be turned about their axis to take care of the change of load. So that means here you can observe this is the hub at the center, and these are the blades on the periphery, and this angle of the blade, it is not fixed, it can be varied or changed depending on the load. If the load varies depending on the load, so this angle can be varied, or exposure of the blade surface to the water flow can be varied, so thereby we can adjust to the load. Hmm? Kaplan turbine is also has a ring of fixed guide blades at the inlet of the turbine. Similar to Francis turbine, it consists of guide blades or stator wheel, which consists of guide blades at the outer periphery, and then in the center, so there will be rotor. Okay. In operation, water from the reservoir flows through the penstock. Penstock, as I told you, is a pipe carrying the water from the reservoir or the dam to the powerhouse or the turbine. Okay. So at the end of this penstock, it enters into the turbine. Hmm. So the water enters the spiral casing at the end of the penstock. A part of the potential energy of water is converted into kinetic energy in the spiral casing itself. Okay. Then the water then moves through the guide blades or the stationary blades, get deflected, and then flows axially through the runner. Okay. So their energy transfer takes place from the water to the rotor, then the rotor starts rotating. So this is about hydraulic turbines. Then thank you for patient listening.